We are back again with another one. Are you ready to hear this one?
Definitely.
Are you sure?
That's why I'm here.
Great. Okay, the year is 1959. Nicole Brown is born May 19th in Frankfurt, West Germany, to Judith and Judy Brown and Louis Lou Brown Jr. She's the second of four daughters. Denise, Dominique, and Tanya were the other three sisters. Her father has had previous marriages, so Nicole had two older half-sisters and one older half-brother. Let's fast forward to when she's starting high school. This is when the family uproots and moves to the United States, where Nicole attends Rancho Alamitos High School in Garden Grove, California. But she doesn't graduate from that school. She actually transfers to another high school called Dana Hills High School in Dana Point, California, and she graduates in 1976. So she's 18. She hasn't started college yet, obviously, but it's an interesting time, right? Now you can at least get a job. You have a little bit more time to get a job and getting ready for college. So she gets a job at a nightclub in Beverly Hills. She works as a waitress there, and this club is called the Daisy. At this club, she meets a pro football player. She's like, wow, I know you, right? This is awesome. And he happens to really think she's cute. His name is OJ. And they meet in 1977. At this time, OJ's 30 years old, or around 30 years old, and he's kind of on the back end of his football career. And the two kick it off so well that they begin dating. But OJ, right now, he's actually married.
Are we going to talk about OJ Simpson?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know the actual story, but the way you said OJ, I'm like, I've ever heard of.
You've heard of him.
Yeah, I've heard of OJ Simpson, blah blah blah, but I don't actually.
You don't know all the
story. Yeah.
Okay, well, tonight is the night that you hear about the story.
Oh, the story of OJ Simpson.
Yes. Okay. So, at this time, OJ is married, and his wife is actually pregnant with their daughter, Erin. But OJ is so head over heels for Nicole that he's like, you know what, I'm willing to get divorced from my wife. So he does that. He gets divorced in March 1979, and OJ and Nicole continue to date. Everything's going well. By February 2nd, 1985, the two tie the knot and get married. You know, this is like 5 years after OJ's retired from football. So he's like, okay, like, yeah, this is perfect. I know my first marriage, I just wasn't feeling that relationship as much, but I really feel like this one is good for me. This is key for me. I really love this woman. I'm head over heels for her. So yeah, I can focus entirely on this relationship now. And actually that same year, they welcome their first child, Sydney Brooks Simpson. And by 1988, they have their second child, Justin Ryan Simpson. But a year after that, a police report is filed regarding an incident that occurs on New Year's Day. So the year is 1989. And according to the police report, OJ shouted at her. He shouts and says, I don't want that woman, referring to Nicole, sleeping in my bed anymore. I got two women, and I don't want that woman in my bed anymore. And as the year continues, Nicole calls the police multiple times to report abuse from OJ. Actually, once he's arrested in 1989, the same year, but he pleads no contest, which basically means that you don't confirm or deny the charges pressed against you. So he pleads no contest to spousal abuse. But what also kind of helps drop this charge against OJ is that Nicole's kind of pressured from her family. So she's like, okay, I'll drop the charges because her father was like, hey, he's really helped us financially. He helped get us involved in a great investment with Hertz car rental facility at the Ritz-Carlton here in California. You can't do this. unfortunately, Nicole, I know that you guys have been going through rough times, but you kind of have to look beyond yourself. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. He's really helping us out as a family, Nicole. But years go by, the marriage is just simply not improving. So Nicole, by the year of February 25th, 1992, Nicole files for divorce. She files for divorce. She's like, yeah, we're just too different. This relationship is just not working out. We can't do this. And at the time of their separation, OJ actually informs Nicole of a year-long extramarital affair that has been going on with another woman. That affair only, or I should say that that relationship only ends because the woman that he was doing this with ends up tying the knot with another gentleman. So that only comes to an end because of that. But let's fast forward just a tad bit. By 1993, Nicole and OJ decide to try to make it work. We're gonna try to bring our relationship back. Maybe we can make it work. We already have children. Let's do what we can, right? We know we've had issues in the past, but let's be a little optimistic and shoot for the stars here. But that same year, October 25th, 1993, Nicole calls the police. This time she's crying and she says, OJ is trying to beat the crap out of me. And the police officer that arrives is like secretly recording as he's speaking to Nicole. And Nicole's like telling him he gets very animalistic. He gets this like very animalistic look in his eyes, right? Like his veins pop out. His eyes are black, like pitch black. I mean cold like an animal. It's very, very weird. And when I see it, it scares me. And she even continues by saying, "Officer, look, OJ hasn't hit me in 4 years, but this is very serious. It's been 4 years since he's last put his hands on me, but it's still terrifying to me." Nothing really comes out of that.
So the police can't really help.
Yeah, there's nothing that really comes out of that because it's just like, I hate to say it like this, but it's like hearsay, right? There was nothing to show from it, but it's like, okay, thank you for the information, but I don't have anything to go off of yet.
I think that when someone is scared for their life, that is something that should be taken seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's not that it came out of nowhere. You don't want to hear news the next day or something that something happened to this person. Even you as a law enforcement officer, you'll be like, I wish I could have helped this person that initial time because it was a cry for help. So
yeah, it puts the police officer in a rough situation, right? Because it's like, I want to, but at the same time, it's like, because of the law, you kind of can't push the envelope
at that time.
Well, after that incident, like a few months later, she does actually move out. And that's when the relationship ends. They're like, no, we're not going to even try for this now, right? This has to be done. And she actually relocates to Brentwood, Los Angeles, at 875 South Bundy Drive. And she has the 2 children there, right? This is good. At this time, she's like 35 years old. On a Sunday evening, June 12th, 1994, Nicole is stabbed to death outside her home. And she's stabbed to death with a restaurant waiter. At this time, this gentleman was 25 years old. And his name is Ron Goldman. The midnight of June 13th, her body's discovered. She's lying in a fetal position, basically with your legs all the way. Yeah, it's a fetal position, and she's in a pool of blood. So an autopsy's done, and it's determined that Nicole has been stabbed about 7 times in the neck and scalp, and sustained like a 5.5-inch gash across her throat. Her left and right arteries breached, and basically her veins were also breached as well. Like left and right jugular veins were breached. So the wounds penetrated Nicole's neck about 0.75 inches into her cervical vertebrae, nearly decapitating her.
So why did the waiter do that?
The waiter was also killed.
That night?
He was with her. The waiter was also killed.
Wait, I thought you said the waiter stabbed her.
No. So, once again, Nicole is stabbed outside her home, and Ron Goldman, the restaurant waiter, was also stabbed, I should say.
Yeah, because I had she was stabbed
No.
by a waiter.
No,
Okay.
she and the waiter were stabbed to death. She even had defensive wounds on her hands,
Like she was trying
trying to fight this off, which lets you know this person must have been strong.
This person was determined, was like even if
Determined to do something. Law enforcement picks up on this. Wait a second. Isn't this OJ's former wife? Look up the file. She's called the cops several times, didn't she? Weren't there like abuse allegations? So OJ becomes an immediate person of interest, right? Because like, come on, like there's history of you abusing her to a degree. She's called the cops. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to look into this, right? So after the police gather all of the evidence, charges are filed and a warrant is signed for OJ's arrest. And they're like, okay, let's organize it to where OJ and his attorneys can show up to the police headquarters at 11 a.m. And yeah, they do that. They try to arrange that for June 17th. OJ fails to turn up though. He doesn't turn up. Matter of fact, later that day, they engage in a low-speed pursuit chase to try to get OJ. So it's like OJ's in a white 1993 Ford Bronco, a vehicle that is owned by a former teammate of his and longtime friend, Al Collings. OJ's in the back seat. Al is driving the vehicle. OJ has a pistol to his head, and he's basically threatening, I will shoot myself if I don't make it back to my Brentwood estate. If I don't make it back home, I will shoot my brains out right this second. So the highway patrol gets this information. They're like, okay, we will slowly follow behind you. Don't shoot yourself in the head, but we will slowly follow behind you. This is like such huge news that the TV stations even like, they start covering this, right? They're like covering this low speed chase. This interrupts the NBA finals. They're like, here, take the NBA off, right? This we gotta cover this. Like, this is OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
Right? This guy was a great running back. He won the Heisman Trophy Award in college. We have to follow this. This is really interesting. There's an estimated audience of 95 million people tuning in because of that.
People are watching on TV, live TV.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Because this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
OJ's wife is brutally murdered, and here the cops are literally trying to follow this man to who knows where, right? We don't know where he's really going at this point. Right?
And we don't know why he's doing that.
Right. He's threatening to kill himself. And this is on live air? Yeah, I'm going to watch that over the NBA Finals. Absolutely. Right? But he finally arrives at the home in about an hour or so from as they're covering this. And as soon as he gets out of the vehicle, they take him into custody. They're like, okay. Let's take him in.
Why did he even bother to do that? Because why bother? Because it's going to be caught.
I didn't really go that far.
Yeah, because he
Did
knows.
You think he was going to barricade himself, or?
I don't know. Like, it does not make sense. It's like you already know you're being chased.
Right.
You already know the chances of you staying wherever you're going to. Everyone knows. Everyone is following you. So you won't even be safe, or you won't even stay there. So why even bother to do all this?
Right.
Doesn't make sense.
I guess, he's just going through it emotionally, right? Like, he can't even...
Maybe he was just panicking.
Well, exactly. That's a perfect word. Like, clearly he's not thinking logically. He's emotionally going through it. Like, he cannot
So it was
think.
just panicking.
Yes.
He didn't even think that far that, oh, sheesh, even if I get there...
Right.
I'll be caught. I'll still be caught. Let me just stop here and get caught. It's easy. Saves time. Yeah, that was funny.
So he eventually goes to court, and he has some money still, right? Obviously. He just retired from football, so he's able to hire an all-star attorney team, right? Johnny Cochran, Robert Kardashian.
Yeah, that is what I think made me know about it, because I had this story that Robert Kardashian was in the team
Right.
Yeah, that
Yes.
defended OJ, but I still didn't know the story.
Right. So Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey. Robert Shapiro, I believe, he's the founder of LegalZoom.
Oh.
So yeah, it's an all-star. Let's just say an all-star attorney team.
So
Like
you
you
put up the
basically
team.
cannot lose with this kind of team, right?
Yeah.
But this trial basically lasts for like 9 months. It's a heated trial. In this trial, the opposing attorneys.
But wait.
Go ahead.
For them to have like this lawsuit and this whole case, did the cops actually prove that he was at the scene?
Well, that's what they
what's
were
actually-
trying. That's what they were trying to do during this trial.
But they should have like conclusive evidence, I think.
Well, they tried to provide circumstantial and physical evidence to prove that OJ killed both the waiter and Nicole, right? They tried that.
But
Well, by October 3rd, 1995, the jury renders a verdict. And imagine 100 million people nationwide are tuning into this, right? Everyone's huddled around. All right, what is the decision? OJ Simpson, you are not guilty for the 2 murders. You are not guilty.
oh my goodness. Okay. Let's continue. But okay, I get why he would be seen as not guilty, because everything was circumstantial. Nothing was like there, like putting him in the scene probably, or no one saw him actually doing it.
Okay, so one of the things that were brought forth in the trial, or during the trial, was there was a glove that was found on site. And the opposing attorneys are like, one of them's like, okay, let's have him try the glove on in court. Right? Because yes, he has this great attorney team and they're ducking and weaving everything we have to say, right? Ducking and weaving. Have him try the glove on. This gets back to the attorney team that, hey, they're going to have him try this glove on. So in court, he tries the glove on. He doesn't fit the glove. It's too small for his hand. So there were things like that helped him get that verdict decision.
Not guilty verdict. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, there was no charges, no other convictions related to these murders that were pinned on OJ, right?
Okay, let me ask this question. How long was it, like after she left him and when she died? How long was that duration?
I mean, it seems that it was about like months.
Oh, it was
really,
months.
because like really it was like what, by the end of 1993, she calls the cops for the final time, basically, and then like several months after that. So you can say it kind of carries into maybe the new year, right? Maybe January, and then June comes by and she's killed, right? That's when she's killed. So really, it wasn't even like,
It's
3 years,
Yeah.
4 years from, no, like this is so fresh and new that those feelings are still with you. Those feelings are still fresh.
3 years, I could have been like, oh, maybe.
Right. Like maybe it was some other guy she was involved. No, these
yeah.
feelings are too fresh.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, these feelings
Because I was
are
about
a
to be
little
like,
fresh.
okay, when did this happen? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty
Right.
fresh. Yeah.
And this was like, this verdict caused like, crazy reactions, right? I mean, during this time, you still have a lot of racial tension going on in the country, right? So a lot of African Americans felt that, yes, by not giving OJ, non-guilty verdict, this is justice being served. Like, this is actually good justice, right? Like, this is good. While, white Americans and Hispanic people were like, I don't know about that. I don't know about this, right? But anyhow, that was the verdict, right? We can't really reverse that now. But but by 1996, OJ gets full custody of the children. Of course, Nicole's parents is like, no, let's fight this. But their attempts fell. So OJ keeps the children. But even though, that verdict has been made, the families, so Nicole's family, let's say the restaurant waiter, his family, still wanted to basically do something about this. So they file a civil lawsuit against OJ. And the Superior Court judge bans television, cameras, radio equipment, courtroom sketches. He's like, no, I saw what happened in the last,
trial.
When he was brought, no, I want to completely close the doors on this. So that happens. And by October 23rd, 1996, opening statements are made. And fast forward just a little bit further, by January 16th, 1997, both sides rested their case. And that basically means that evidence was presented, but a decision hasn't really been decided yet, right? The court is still considering judgment. But by February 5th, 1997, civil jury in Santa Monica, California unanimously finds OJ liable for the wrongful death of and battery against the restaurant waiter and battery against Nicole.
How did things change?
Well, so I should explain that this is not necessarily like to try to reverse the initial verdict. Like we're trying to send you to prison for killing these people. This is kind of like a way to get money from
him.
Yes.
Or to pay
yes, like you're
fine.
Yes, you're paying. So you're not gonna serve time,
but
you will pay us money because we are blaming you for this. We're still pinning this on you. And so yes, that was actually he did lose that. OJ did lose that, and he paid $33,500,000 in damages, 8.5 in compensatory damages to the waiter's family, and 12.5 million in punitive damages to both families, basically Nicole's family and the restaurant waiter's family. And actually, by 1997, OJ defaults on his mortgage of his home.
He does not have money now.
Yes. So he defaults on his mortgage by 1997. He's lived in that home for 20 years during that time, so the lender had to take it back, and that property was foreclosed.
And he could not say, I'm not going to pay this because there is no way I did this. It can't be like...
Well, I mean, it was a, went
decision.
You can't really, I guess you can try to appeal.
You can't do payment plans.
Definitely can. I guess Klarna wasn't around at that time. I guess not.
You're supposed to pay outright. If you don't pay, what happens? You go to jail.
Well, your property is seized. Like other things are seized.
No, not about the property. This 8 million, 12 million to the families.
Things are seized at that point. Actually...
Because you can just say, I don't have the money.
I wouldn't say seized is the right word, but sold off, right? So, like I told you, he was the man in football, right? From college.
But still, I can be I don't have money for this to give you guys. This money is for me to live.
But it's all right. Let's say you've over your years, right? Because he also was involved in business a little bit, so you earn money from that.
Yeah.
You earn money from football. So you accumulate something of value, right? So, for example, his Heisman Trophy. It's who's the best college football player, right? It's like a award given to that person, right? So he won that award back when he was in college, and he had to ultimately auction it off, which back in 1999, $500,000 is a lot of money. Right, so he gained at least $500,000, and those proceeds had to go to the waiter's family because Nicole's family didn't really pursue this all that much. Guess we can dig a little deeper and find out as to why. Maybe it was financial reasons because this is expensive to do this. But that kind of explains why the Heisman Trophy proceeds. So it's things like that, when you sell items. That money's just gonna have to go.
To cover it in one way or another, just
you can do your best to try to cover that as best as you can, right? So basically, following the deaths of Nicole and the other gentleman. Nicole's townhouse at 875 South Bundy Drive sat empty for nearly 2 years. I mean, this is something that's very controversial, and yeah, I mean, it just sat empty. And
I don't get it. The family didn't take ownership. No one used it. What do you mean sat empty?
well, I guess what I mean sat empty is what I mean by that is the family didn't do anything to it.
Mm-hmm.
The family just kind of left it there. They're probably still very traumatized by what happened.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Is that not traumatizing?
It is, but 2 years. Okay.
I mean, they eventually sell the property, and the next owner just remodels it and actually changes the complete address of the property to get rid of that whole bad. Yeah, because it just, I mean, most people wouldn't want to move into a house that has such a reputation. So you have to kind of basically gut the entire place and just get rid of that whole image.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically what had happened between OJ Simpson and his former wife, Nicole Brown. I'm sure you're wondering, do you have any questions?
Yeah, what next? Because I think he was arrested. I think I know he was
He's
arrested.
had several. After this, I mean, he's had several legal problems.
But because
Not necessarily in relation to this, though.
Oh, not the same Nino.
No. This, he was clean. But that doesn't mean that the families didn't move further. Like, for example, like I said, Nicole's family didn't really move forward after this. Like, I don't know why.
So they were like, okay.
Yeah, it seems like things have kind of...
Or is it the same mentality that, like, when the dad said, like, he has helped us, he got out?
I don't know. I don't know if that was a mix between...
Or were they paid behind the table, or...
No, I mean, why... No, I don't think so.
Or maybe
I mean,
they just
were
believe
awarded.
that-
They were awarded tons of money.
Or maybe
so it's
they
like,
just didn't believe that he did it.
I don't know. I mean,
Because I think if it's
because
your
they were
daughter
awarded. So
or your
let's
family-
think about it. They were awarded money like soon after this, right? From the civil lawsuit, basically. So you have the money to go further if you want. Because I'll go into details about how that other family did go further. You can tell, like they wanted yes, they wanted to move forward in making his life like miserable as possible, as miserable as possible. So it's not that, and I also don't think, hey, accept this money under the table. No, this is your daughter, right? Like,
you'd
come
want
on.
to
Like,
fight.
you love this girl, right? You love her so much. No, you're not gonna just say, take this hush money and then I'll move on. No, there's no way. And I'm sure there's more things about abuse that she told them than we know, right? Like, that didn't even make it to the police. I'm not sure what they were conflicted about. I'm not sure if they were so traumatized to the point that they couldn't deal with all the media attention, maybe. And it was so fresh and new that they're like, we still can't even believe this has happened. Like, we can't even process this yet. And you guys are trying to ask us 1,000,001 questions. Like, my daughter didn't just like disappear or get ran over. I have the autopsy details. She was almost decapitated. Like, that doesn't happen often. So I don't know why, but I agree with them still, because to have this happen to your daughter is incredibly saddening and traumatizing, to the point where I don't want to judge them for not moving forward. But at the same end, I do agree with the other family saying, no, to crap with this, let's try to make his life as miserable as possible. And basically, to kind of fast forward a bit, September 5th, 2006, from now on, I'll start saying Goldman. So the waiter's name was Ron Goldman. Since I'm kind of going into details about his family and how they pursued this, I'll start calling them Goldman.
Okay.
So by September 5th, 2006, Goldman's father took OJ back to court to obtain control over OJ's right to publicity.
Surely.
So basically, you can't just, I don't know, get on TV and talk about this whole trial or.
Okay.
So he tried to do that, right? By 2007, a federal judge issued a restraining order prohibiting OJ from spending any advance money he may have received on a canceled book deal and TV interview about the 1994 murders. So it's like, okay, you haven't been sentenced for this, but we will try to limit you financially as much as possible. Starting with
They
this.
were not even thinking, what if he actually didn't do it and we're doing this to him?
But it's kind of like,
You know he did it.
it's like, okay, I don't know definitely, but it's like,
I feel like
if I can give you a probability, this has to be 98, 99%. I mean, who's going to kill someone this gruesomely? Like, all right, let's set the scene for a second. Let's say, one night her house was ransacked, all of the precious gold, her nice items were stolen. Oh, she was found unconscious. Man, this looks like someone actually broke into this person's house and wanted these items. They didn't even kill her. They just you can tell, or they didn't intentionally try to hurt her that bad. She was knocked over the head with some item to make her unconscious so that they can easily rob the place. That didn't happen. We don't know what was taken. It seems like nothing was taken from the actual house. But we do know what happened is her body was basically mutilated. So you tell me, someone who literally has a track record of abusing a certain person, you tell me if the probability will lean higher for them or not if you find out that person was killed, the victim was killed.
Higher, but that 2% still could be someone else.
So what would be the 2%?
Maybe someone else that was
Just some random person's like, hey.
Not a random person, because it was several months after. You don't know what happened in between.
Several months after, they've already been on and off. He was consistently cheating on her, right?
No, that is, I'm saying several months after she left, like.
Yes, but I'm going over the history of the relationship. The relationship was rocky.
But yeah, see, she already left.
Yes, left with the children. Mind you, they were both, I should say this, he was very much so infatuated with her. Even though he was cheating, he was doing things like that, he was very much so infatuated by this woman.
He did not want her to leave.
He did not want her to leave, in other words.
Okay.
He did not want this to happen. He still wanted her to be around. So it's hard to not point towards the person that has a record of this.
Yeah, it's hard, but I want more evidence.
More evidence. So if it were you to be able to make a final call, let's take you back to when this is hot, right? Like, this is fresh. What are you deciding then?
Deciding as who?
No, what's your verdict?
I don't know.
No, you have.
I know the
you
higher
have
percentage.
Millions of people. No, you have million. Don't say I don't know, right? You say this in a courtroom. Everyone's gonna turn their head.
It's that
right?
fast
what are you talking
verdict.
about?
Like, it was like not guilty because I want something. Kwanzaa, why didn't the glove fit?
So a lot of people believed this. And I'm going to go into this detail and I want to backtrack to another one after this. So just give me a second. A lot of people said, okay, this guy can start working out his hand to make sure he does not fit this glove perfectly. Like, if I hear that I'm about to try on a glove, like, let's put you in this situation. You hear that you're about to try on a glove tomorrow. What are you going to do to keep yourself out of prison? You are going to grab as many things that you can squeeze to make sure that your hand gets as buff and strong as possible. Even the morning of, I'm sure you're like this. In the car, right? You're squeezing your fist. You're doing whatever you can to make it to where you cannot wiggle into that glove. Second thing, she had scratches or evidence basically pointed to her trying to fight someone off.
Yeah, like big defensive.
Which lets you know this person was not weak, right? A man was with her. And he was still able. This person was still able to do this to her. OJ is a former football player. He's actually inducted in the Hall of Fame of the NFL. He was strong. And yes, the word is jealousy. He noticed, because, all right, I'm sure she was like, okay, he's cheating, blah, 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 right? Fine. I will just completely separate from him. I was giving him chances. I was trying to work this out, right? Twice that they reconciled twice, mind you, right? But no, he's like, I still want you here though.
But why do you have another man?
Or another woman?
No, I'm saying
why. Oh, from his perspective.
Yeah. Why do you have another man? Why you don't have a right, the right to cheat on me or leave me.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't leave me.
Not even cheating. That can't even be cheating. You don't have a right to be with someone else.
It's not even cheating. It's just
that me or
you
no one else.
can't leave me. You're mine, right? Do not leave me. And I see you with this person. This is it. This is making me mad. This is making me so mad. I'm gonna have to do something like this.
Maybe he just went to the house abruptly and was shocked. He was like, huh? What's happening here? And out of rage and not thinking that happened, probably. Okay, now I get it. So in 2000...
What do you mean now you get it?
Because I was like, why are these people like trying to like sabotage this person? Like they're canceling his deals, they're making him poor, like...
I mean,
I know.
all of the evidence just points to him.
Yeah. What else did they do?
So in August 2007, a Florida bankruptcy court awarded the rights to a book to the Goldman family to...
He wrote a book?
Yes.
About the murder?
About going through that whole trial. Yes. Because at this point, he's not even able to make the payments by this time, right? So this partially satisfies the unpaid civil judgment, right? The unpaid compensation, basically. Mind you, the book is titled "If I Did It."
Why?
and they retitled it "If I Did It: Confessions of the Killer."
He's like, if I did it, yeah, I did it.
Yes.
Not if I did it.
Yes, like there's no if. Like, you did it, OJ, you did it. You did do that. But yeah, that's basically the last thing that was done, pretty much, to kind of make his life miserable.
But he never he was never arrested.
Not for that. I mean, after this though, his life did become miserable. He ran into several legal troubles, like with taxation. Late 90s, he attempted to like register OJ Simpson or OJ. The Juice was like a football nickname he had. He tried to register these as trademarks, try to make some money off of these, and they didn't allow him to do that, basically. They thought that this was immoral and scandalous, basically, because everyone was still believing that you did this. You didn't. This was you. I mean, several other things. He was charged for burglary.
He tried to steal.
Simple battery and burglary of an occupied conveyance this was a small one. He yanked off the glasses of another motorist during a traffic dispute. But a major one, I would say, like a major thing that came up was a Las Vegas robbery. So September 13, 2007, a group of men led by OJ, they enter a room at a hotel casino, and it's alleged that he held someone at gunpoint requesting for memorabilia. And basically he was taken to court for this, and he basically argued that no, these items were actually stolen from me. Actually, we didn't have a gun. No one had a gun on us, but we requested for these items back. But 2 days later, he was arrested, and the bail was set to $125,000 with stipulations that OJ have no contact with the co-defendants and that he surrender his passport. OJ did not enter a plea. By January 2008, OJ was taken into custody in Florida, and he's extradited to Las Vegas for that. And he's incarcerated at the Clark County Jail for violating the terms of his bail.
Because he left and went to Florida.
No, it's because he tried to make contact with one of the co-defendants, right? One of the other people that were there with him in Las Vegas. So a hearing it takes place on January 16th, 2008, and they raise his bail to $250,000 in order that he remain in county jail until 15% was paid in cash. That's just like,
yeah, you're already strapped off of
you
cash,
already don't
like,
have money,
yeah,
and they're like, give us this money, right? Like,
and money is being taken from you, like, in all directions.
so the trial begins September 8, 2008, and it's like an all-white jury, right? And it's like the complete opposite of what
Happened in 1990.
in the 90s, right? It's completely different scenario. And he was found guilty of all charges on October 3rd, 2008. A lot of people will say that was a way of getting back at him. Like, a lot of people look at that like that was a way of, like I said, the racial, like I said, it was racial tensions about this. Like, even if you speak to older Americans, they'll say white people were kind of on one side, right, saying no, Nicole was killed by OJ, and then you hear like older Black American people saying no, OJ, he was innocent. But yeah, this side would say this is a way that the white people kind of got back at them. Got back at him, I should say. So OJ faced a possible life sentence with parole
for robbery.
So, October 10, 2008, OJ's counsel moved for a new trial on grounds of judicial errors and insufficient evidence. OJ's attorney announces he would appeal to the Nevada Supreme Court if the judge denies the motion. The attorney for OJ's co-defendant petitions for a new trial, basically alleging that his client should have been tried separately, not with OJ. And he was basically citing that possible misconduct by the jury foreman. Right, so he wanted a separate. He's like, no, don't pin me up with OJ. Just charge me separately. Let's deal with mine separately. But OJ faces a possible life sentence with parole on the kidnapping charge and mandatory prison time for armed robbery. So
I tried to kidnap someone.
I guess that's how they.
Interpreted.
Yes, that's how they interpreted that. So you're trying to kidnap and perform armed robbery. So that's why he was basically sentenced for mandatory prison time. So December 5th rolls around, December 5th, 2008. OJ is sentenced to a total of 33 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 9 years. So by July 31st, 2013, the Nevada Parole Board grants OJ parole on some convictions, but his imprisonment continued because of the weapons and assault convictions. The board considered OJ's prior record of criminal convictions and good behavior in prison in coming to the decision. At his parole hearing on July 20th, 2017, the board decides to grant OJ's parole with certain parole conditions, such as travel restrictions, non-contact with the co-defendants, and he's not allowed to drink excessively. So by October 1st, 2017, he's basically served 9 years at this time, or at this point, he's finally released. By December 2021, he's released from parole for good behavior, and now by that time, he's considered free.
So like, he stopped making even payments to that family.
Yes.
But he ruined his own life.
Everything went. So it's almost like. It's kind of like, I hate to put it like this, but it's like karma.
Yeah.
Right? Like you think you're so high and mighty,
and
right?
Started to just go like this. Until, like, robbery? Like because
it got to the point where he literally had no money.
What about the people he knew that were?
Everyone yes, come on. You're not going to work with someone who's
people are usually
like
on your side when you are like up
there. Yes.
And then when things
it depends on how bad it is, right? Like say if it's like, oh, my business started tanking, right? Because, I don't know, our demand started falling. Someone's going to still work with you, right? Because that's like legal. But this is like Dude, are you
Mark.
kidding me? Millions of people think you killed this young lady.
Well, how
I
did
can't
he
work with you. I can't
defend
be associated
himself?
with you.
How did he like defend himself when he was asked, why were you like running? Why were we chasing you? Like, why did you like that Nini slow chase or whatever? What did he say about it?
No, I mean there wasn't much that he
Because
personally
that is
said
like
about it.
how like a guilty person would react.
It is.
Yeah, so I don't really
But at the same time, to play devil's advocate, someone could say, I'm hurt by my wife being killed, and the whole world's blaming me. Like,
you brought the attention to yourself. You could have just walked into the police station and just say that
if you're innocent, you would gladfully
you'd be
say,
like, I want to cooperate.
like, all right, I'll do whatever you need me to
Yeah,
do,
I want
because
to
at the end of the day, I
cooperate.
want you guys to work with me.
Yeah, that's
Try to
that's
help me
guilty.
find who did this to my wife. Absolutely. So I'll ask you it again. What is your verdict? Right now, do you believe
So
OJ
wait.
Simpson killed Nicole Brown?
So wait, he stayed in jail in prison for
For
how?
9 years.
9 years, from which 2011? No, not 11. 2011.
Well, he was released from prison in 2017, and he was on parole until 2021.
Oh, so he had good behavior on
Yes,
parole.
Yeah, he had good behavior. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had good behavior. Now, yes.
Yeah, so because he was going to face 30-something years.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine would be like, he's guilty.
Do you think he's killed? You think he killed Nicole?
Yeah, he's guilty based on the circumstances, based on his reaction, based on the history.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't want to say it conclusively, so let me just stick to
Yeah, but let's just say it's similar to a lot of the other things.
Yeah.
Like when someone's pinned for murder, I would say most of the time it's because it's justified, right? There's a significant amount of evidence that points to that.
Yeah, this one did not.
It's not like he was perfect in this relationship.
Yeah,
it would be
plus
different
he
if
did
he
not
was perfect.
I
pretty
wish he
much.
confessed at some point, but there is no confession.
He's not
There
going to
is
do that.
No, there is nothing.
There's no way he would do that. And this is aside from the research I've done on this story, because I've watched this documentary and I absolutely recommend it to anyone who is interested with this story. It's called OJ Made in America. We will watch this. But this documentary shows a whole nother side of OJ that increases the suspicion. So, and again, this is the side of my research based on this documentary that I watched years ago. But for example, when he was undergoing this trial, to kind of give you some context on OJ and who he was a guy that was known for not really associating with the black community. So when he was going through this trial, it was coming out that a lot of the black community was backing him. And this is during, like, you still have a lot of racial, civil issues going on in this country, right? So it's kind of beneficial to be on that side now. So what his attorneys decided to do was replace a lot of paintings in his house and put black figures in his house to make it seem like you are for the black community. And they did say in the documentary that he was following her in a lot of cases because he was so infatuated by her, very much so infatuated by Nicole. So I'm not going to make it seem like that documentary has 100% truth to it, but I will say it is very much so convincing and increases anyone that's kind of in the middle. If they watch that documentary, they will most certainly walk away saying, I'm sorry, but yes, I believe OJ committed the murders for both of these two.
Okay, that was interesting.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, how someone can look at it, I do also agree with that.
You
I
think he
believe
did it?
OJ Simpson killed her and the other gentleman, and the gentleman.
You know, you've watched all of it. You've done the research, so I need to watch it to be 100%.
Yes, I think you should.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
I'm there, so I need to watch it to be like 100%.
We'll watch it. We'll watch it.
All right, okay. But yeah, it was interesting. It was good. I knew the name, but I didn't actually know what happened.
You didn't know the details.
Yes, I didn't know.
Was
the
it
details.
worth hearing?
Yeah, it was worth hearing.
Okay.
Now, when someone says OJ Simpson, I'm like, yeah, I know the story.
Yep.
I know the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good one. I can't wait to hear another one. Yeah, today was a good one. So I guess until next time, we'll see you. Bye.